Welcome to Southwest Florida Real Estate Update, hosted by area realtor Jim York and York Real Estate Group of Downing Fry Realty. Our show will bring you the most up-to-date information about the local real estate market, featuring leading experts in the real estate field.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Southwest Florida Real Estate Update. I'm Michael York with the York Real Estate Group, and I'm joined today with our host Jim York and his guest Debbie DeMaria, President at Vogue Interior Design.
Thank you, Michael, for the introduction. Debbie, welcome to our show today.
Thank you for having me.
So let's just give our viewers a little background about yourself and your company today.
Okay, well, it started back 35 years ago, 28 of them being down here in Florida, coming from Michigan. Worked for various firms for about the last 10 years. And then in 1997, an opportunity came about for me to purchase a company, which I did, which was Vogue Interiors. And the original owner of Vogue Interiors is still with me today. So Vogue has been in business for over 35 years now, 17 of which I have owned it.
And whereabouts are you located?
We're located in Bonita Springs, right across from the shops of Pelican Landing.
And your website for our viewers?
Is www.vogueinteriors.com.
And just give us a little background about your team within your company.
We have a great team, and we are team players. So everyone helps everyone else out, all the way from the designer to the design assistant to the administrative to the warehouse. Everyone is involved where they need to be involved, so we make it a team effort so the designers can design and the clients can be comfortable with the whole process, because that is what makes a company successful, is that the client is happy.
That's right.
So that's where it all begins.
Okay. Well, today we're really here to talk about several different topics, and one is, what is the new trends that you're seeing from a designer standpoint? Because I think every so many years things change, just like clothing. So maybe you could tell our viewers what you're seeing and what people are doing in their homes.
Well, actually, history does repeat itself, so I've been in it long enough to see that. One of the things, or many things, the gray has become the new black or the new beige. However, when you mix grays with creams, it tends to make it a little warmer. So that is kind of where we are leaning most of our clients, so it's not too trendy, because trends do change and you do not want them to be just stuck in one little area. They down the road, you want them to change their look a little bit. Texture has become very important over the years. Mixing fabrics have come a long way in being able to give us so many looks, and the way our lifestyle is changing, everything else is changing with that. The trends now is easy to care for, not a lot of fuss, minimalistic, more texture, comfort, glass and wood now is becoming very popular. And with the color palette of it being mostly the neutrals and working with the textures, it will allow you to move in different directions with color, whether it be bright colors or soft colors, teal colors, misty colors. Some colors that are coming back into play is raspberries, misty, sea misty, earthy type of colors, raspberries or any kind of berry color. Which is very nice. Another color that's coming in is what I would call a shrimpy color or a natural cameo color, which is very pleasing, and it works with many different applications of woods or lacquers, many wall finishes, pewter, mixing all the metals together. Like we're doing in jewelry and fashion, we're also doing that in the home with light fixtures and lamps, and mixing the silvers with French grays and golds and champagne golds, and it makes it so much more interesting than having everything be matchy-matchy.
Right.
So we're not doing so much of that. And even in the furniture aspect of it, it's not just simple straight lines. There's lots of curves, there's dimension, there's architectural pleasing elements to some of these pieces that has become really fun, even now when I've been doing it for so long and seeing so many trends.
And how do people accept this that are, people that come down here are from the Northeast, or they're from the Midwest, or Europe, or even South America? How do they accept the colors that we use here, or the trends that we use versus their countries?
I think they welcome the trends, although you do see a little bit of it coming with what they're comfortable with. So
Right.
when we're doing the homes, we have to take in mind that, some people like it bright and some don't.
Okay.
And so we have to gear towards what they're asking for. So, the whole thing is not it's not the designer's house, it's the client's home.
Right.
Our object is to make it their home.
That's the answer I wanted.
Yes.
You brought this nice display for us, so maybe you could go over this a little bit with us. This is something that you would give a customer
Yes.
when after you met with them, and then you come back and do a little board for them.
Right.
Right.
Right,
So-
and this is a kind of a project that right now is coming into play, and we're showing the combination of the woods, the grays and the creams, and then picking up the metals, different types of metals, and the glass, and warming up the grays with the cream colors. And with that, you can bring in some soft colors. Natural organic materials is coming into play. The so-called wallpaper look is gone now. We don't do too much of that anymore. So
what's this here?
that is a special application of wall covering that is handcrafted. It's
Is it?
hand designed, yes. And we can alter the colorations, have it custom colored. The other is it's like a bamboo type of material that has been applied with special coloring to that. So the manufacturers have really come a long way and made things exciting so that we can use the textures to play off of what we need to enhance. And the object is to enhance the builder's architecture and make the home warm. So paint alone doesn't just do it, in my eyes. But yet you need to have some of that to quiet things down. But where you need texture actually brings in warmth and excitement into the room. So we're using a lot of glass, a lot of textured glass. The designs that they're using for the mosaics are really exciting today. And so this is just showing different patterns with different textures and how it all works together throughout the home.
How about, I'm seeing a lot of wood. Where are they putting the wood, and how's that hold up down here in the humidity? And
Well, now that it's become more engineered wood,
That's right.
it allows for the movement of the humidity and dryness that takes place here. So it's actually very durable, and as we age,
Right.
the tile seems to get a little hard on a lot of people's legs. And so the wood would help soften it. And that also goes in spurts, where we like to not just do everything in wood, but mix it with some
Accent
other
it.
elements so that it brings some texture into the room or another element into the room. And we're using a lot of larger porcelain tiles or stones that are being mixed with the woods. And some of the woods now coming out, they're raked, they're very carefree. You don't have to worry about animals, and I'm an animal lover, so I'm always looking at that.
Right.
And easy to care for. In fact, you don't have grout, you don't have all the other maintenance
know.
that goes along with it. So I'm in favor of wood. I love the feel of it and the look and what you can do with it, because they've come so far with textures, colors, different types of woods, and some of the exotic woods. As designers, we don't usually gear towards the typical. It's always got to be something a little more unusual.
Exactly. How about in cabinetry? What are you seeing in cabinetry?
Well, right now we are still seeing a lot of white.
White?
Although I'm working on a project where I'm shying away from white, I'm stepping out of the box a little bit. We tend to do that. I think that sometimes we have a vision of something and we get our inspirations from magazines or other places that we've visited or been. We we tend to see first of all, what the client is going to want.
Right.
And if they're happy with that, and there's nothing wrong with that, but we're kind of, I think, in the next year going to move away a little bit from white. Not totally. I think we're going to have a lot of it still going on for the next couple of years, but that happened way back 20 years ago, where everything was white. And then we shied away from that for a while, and then it went to the woods. Now we're back to the whites, but at least now with the whites, they're not they have character in the cabinetry. The finish is better. We have more options with hardware, if so be it, and also other elements to put with them, and to still make it light and bright. And with the new metals, it is giving it a whole new look. So I'm seeing a mixture of everything starting to come into play for the next couple years.
Debbie, we're going to take a little short break, and we're going to be back with Debbie, and we're going to talk about the design process when she meets a client. Thank you.
Thinking of buying or selling a home in Naples, Marco, Bonita, or Estero, Florida? Think of the most experienced York Real Estate Group associated with the #1 brokerage in Naples, Downing Fry Realty, which produced $1.9 billion in sales in 2014, controlling 43% of all transactions in Naples. Jim, Michael, and Morgan York make up the York Real Estate Group of Downing Fry Realty. With over $250 million in sales transactions, they can offer you the expertise and trust you want and need in a realtor. Call them today at 239-273-6727 or visit their website, www.naplesyorkrealestate.com.
Welcome back. Debbie, I bring a client to you, and so I have them meet you. We set up an appointment. They bought a place in Quail West, for instance, and I know you do homes there. What is the design process, or is it when we meet a client before they even start the build? So just start with that. When we bring somebody to you, where do we start at?
Well, the most ideal situation is prior to final plans. Mm-hmm. That way we can help with the architect, which is supposed to be a partnership with the architect and designer. That's the best marriage ever.
That's the best one, right? And
when you do that, then we can really get into the client's head a little more, because it's all based on what their lifestyle is, how many children, everything that's involved in their life, to come up with a process that's going to work for them. Some clients are very formal, some are non-formal. Like I said, and others have a lot of pets that we have to take into consideration. If grandchildren, if they come and stay a long time. So really, we really have to know that client in order to direct them in certain areas, from the construction of the home, like placement of windows, placement of doors, electrical outlets. I mean, we help with the whole process. Because we see it sometimes a little differently than the architect does. So
or the builder.
Or sometimes the builder
exactly.
too. But we are in the clients, we're acting as the client, living in that home, that they're not used to doing this every day like we are used to doing it. And so there are certain things that stand out that we may see that may need a correction. So sometimes it's as little as door swings and shower door swings and little things like that can really become a problem later on. So that's kind of where it starts. So if we can do that and correct it, it saves a lot of money on the building aspect because of change orders, because change orders are expensive.
Yes, they are.
So we try to catch all of that as much as what we can in the beginning. Then from that process, then we are basically, by that time in talking to them, I have a vision of the personality, what their lifestyle's kind of like, and sometimes by the way they dress kind of gives me an idea of where to take them in the design process. And sometimes I have to really look at their personality. So we have to be a psychiatrist in a lot of ways. And some want to get out of the box, they're just afraid to, and that's our job, is to bring their dreams, can we do this, or they would be afraid to do it. The other thing that we need to do with them is scale or space plan the space, because they do not have a vision or a visual when you're just looking at a floor plan.
That's right,
And they just can't see it. So we see it because we do it all the time, and we can give them recommendations and options. I always like to give our clients options. I just don't think it's fair for designers to just say it's only going to be this way or forget it.
Right.
I think that that's why they have come to us, is give us ideas on which way we could go with this. And so that's what our job is.
And you do a plan, place the furniture on a plan for
Yes,
them, right?
exactly. And then we go through the process of how much color they want, how much less color do they have, art collections, are they collectors of things, what are their hobbies? We take all that into consideration.
And you would incorporate, if they're bringing some furniture from up north into the home also, I would
Right.
presume.
If
So-
it's totally wrong, I'm going to tell them.
Right.
That's my job. Because, you know, it's like you have to have the right canvas in order for things to work.
Right.
And if it's wrong, I'm going to explain to them where that would lead it if we worked with this. And then they make that decision. So they don't really see how things are different when you're up north compared to bringing things down here. And I've seen it so many times that it doesn't always work unless it is an unusual or very special piece or pieces or art collection. That's totally different.
And the process, if there's a home already built, basically the same way you work, but you can't make any changes to the house then?
No, structurally, no. And you have to first figure out what they want to do. And maybe
Right.
they like the whole layout, maybe it's just cosmetic. If it's just cosmetic, then we have to ask them, why do they want to change? What is wrong? Well, it might be too dark, or I just want to go lighter now. And I'm finding that as we age, we tend to like things a little lighter. We tend to like more color. I'm seeing that a little more. Not so much dark as we age, sad to say. But anyway, that's what we're seeing, and I think when we start getting into remodeling now is because back 10 years ago things were darker, heavier.
They were, yes.
And so people want a little lift, a little light, a little, just that
Right.
type of thing going on.
And
Yep.
where can they see some of your homes that you've done?
Well, from our webpage, we try to keep as current and up with all of that. Then we also have models out there. Right now, currently, we have 2 models in Tallis Park. We have models in Quail West, and we have now new models starting up in Quail West and in Hidden Harbor. So we have about 2 coming, a couple that have sold that are no longer showing, but in Tallis Park mostly, and Miramar Lakes.
Okay. Well, Debbie, we're going to take another little short break, and we're going to come back with Michael that has a question from our website. Okay?
Sure.
Thinking of buying or selling a home in Naples, Marco, Bonita, or Estero, Florida? Think of the most experienced York Real Estate Group associated with the #1 brokerage in Naples, Downing Fry Realty, which produced $1.9 billion in sales in 2014, controlling 43% of all transactions in Naples. Jim, Michael, and Morgan York make up the York Real Estate Group of Downing Fry Realty. With over $250 million in sales transactions, they can offer you the expertise and trust you want and need in a realtor. Call them today at 239-273-6727 or visit their website, www.naplesyorkrealestate.com.
Debbie, with so many new buyers entering the market down here, how do you establish a budget for them and break it down for them?
Excellent question. The way we establish a budget is we have to take a look at the size of the home, the type of home, the size of the lot, where it's located. To do a budget is not an easy process.
No.
And it can go all over. So it's a matter of means of what the design project or the design is going to look like. And then we kind of establish a budget by we can do this or we can do this. Anything that you add to it, of course, is going to add to it. So we have to establish, do you want built-ins? How elaborate do you want your furnishings or your fabrics? How far do you want to go with it? As far as the totally finished, totally turnkey. So all of that needs to be established to establish a budget. And usually what I tell them to do or to budget for in allocations of a
Right.
budget is maybe 10% for lighting, maybe 15, depending on how elaborate they want to be. But usually, as a rule, it's 30% for the furnishings, 30% for window coverings or wall coverings, and then another 30 to 35% for accessorization. And sometimes accessorization can be even more if they're looking for special pieces. So that is typically how we try to outline a budget. And then also too, as far as you have the outdoor areas to consider as well. And our outdoor areas are just as important
That's right.
as the interior finishing because you live out there. So we have to add about another 20% onto that budget just for the exterior. So that's how we try to determine or itemize the budget to make it work.
I visited your place up there in your office, and it's a big design studio, but
Yes.
you don't have a lot of furniture in
No.
there. So how's that process work with the client? Do you have books, or how do you?
Yes, we have quite a library.
Right.
And we have over 2,000 vendors.
Mhm.
And then we also have to have a librarian because there's so much there. We have one of the largest design studios
That's right.
in this area
Mhm.
and a library to boot. So a third of my space is just dedicated to the library. And we try to carry enough product in our models to see, touch, and feel as well.
That's right.
And we have important pieces on our showroom floor to represent some of the manufacturers that we have that helps. But I never wanted to be a furniture store because that is just too general as far as
Right.
I'm concerned. We design towards the client, so we can't just do a room setting and just say, okay, this is going to be your room, because
Yep.
it just may not work, and that may not be the person. So, and it's worked fine for me. I have not had any problems at all. So, and especially the way the catalogs or the internet, as far as getting pretty good photos.
Mhm.
And also going to markets helps because I know the product.
Right.
So knowing the client as far as their height and seat depth, and the seat depth and height is the key to,
That's right.
everything being comfortable, and then the cushioning. So I've been doing this a long time.
Yeah, I'm glad you explained that, because a lot of people think they go to a furniture store, but you can offer them a lot more than what really a furniture store can with all
Oh,
the
absolutely.
catalogs. And then the final question maybe I would ask is, somebody might ask you, how long is delivery? How do you tie in all those pieces when they're
Well, you
buying?
basically need about 4 to 5 months from start to finish
Okay.
to order. You need 5 months when you're doing a complete home, sometimes even more, because we are at the mercy of production. And over the years, depending on the economy, depends on how long production takes. Because it could be anywhere from fabrics that could take 12 weeks to 16 weeks to have
Right.
made, and if we're sending it to another manufacturer to be applied, we have to wait for that time to go through as well. So usually 5 months gives us ample time to get 99% of everything in and installed. So when we install, I have a rule, my clients are not allowed in, because what I want them to see is a finished product
Right.
when they walk through the door.
Yeah.
So they can see everyone's efforts, because it's not easy, it's not that simple. And there's a lot of technical things that go on behind the doors that the clients don't know, and nor should they really care. That it's the end result. But we need the time to do that.
Well, Debbie, I'd like to thank you for coming, and I'm sure our viewers are thankful also. And I would highly recommend anyone that comes to the Naples area or Bonita or Estero to at least give you a call and see what you can offer.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Uh-huh.